it's my favorite month of the year. It's October, spooky season, and yes, the pumpkin spice lattes are flowing. The house is decorated for Halloween. The kids are ready to go trick-or-treating, and I'm excited about it. I love this time of year, and this is a great month for video game releases. So let's talk about my 10 biggest video game releases for October. And I want to start right off with the one I'm most excited about. I think this is the biggest one for me, and that is Metaphor Ref Fantasia. You know, Atlas, of course, has been firing on all cylinders recently with all the Persona games they've been cranking out, and people, of course, in love with the Persona games. Let me be clear, I've never played a Persona game. That's right, I can't believe that. Of course, they just cranked out Unicorn Overlord, which was one of my favorite games of the year from Vanillaware. So now the studio is mixing up high fantasy with a politically charged story, and that is Metaphor Ref Fantasia. Now, I want to encourage all of you to go over and watch my friend Johnny over at the Happy Console Gamer. He was talking about this game all summer as his most anticipated, most hyped game of the year. But this game is being released on October 11th, and I can't wait to pick it up. You have this really incredible new gameplay system. The music sounds unbelievable.
He's by a human mere days ago. You can only blame your king's weakness. Who deserves his crown?
Really interesting character types, and as Johnny was telling me, he's like, you can see how much money that they spent on this game. Holy smokes, they put a lot of money and resources into this game. This is not a low budget title, and a new IP from Atlas. So, you know, add this into the Persona realm, if you will. But if you want to jump into a new series, like if the Persona series felt sort of overwhelming to you, like where do you start? This is a new IP, so it's a perfect opportunity to start something new and fresh from Atlas in Metaphor Ref Fantasia. It may then cause you to go down the Atlas rabbit hole and start playing Persona games or Shin Megami Tensei, right? So if you've never played any of those games, a perfect opportunity to dive in to this world, this universe that they've spent a lot of money to make, and I'm really excited about this game. Well, the next big game on my list is Until Dawn, the remake. After all, it is the spooky season, and if you want a sort of choose-your-own-adventure style slasher horror movie experience, then you've come to the right place. It's been totally rebuilt, enhanced from the ground up, and it's out now on the PS5 and the PC. It came out on October 4th. And let me just say, yeah, I know we're a little late here into October because I was at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, so a little stuff got backed up here and backlogged for October. But, you know, this has enhanced visuals, it has enhanced sound, totally remaked experience, and new locations to explore. I'm really looking forward to this because I love the choose your own adventure books back in the day, and you know, it's Halloween season, a choose your own adventure horror game totally rebuilt from the ground up. A perfect opportunity to dive into this series right now with Until Dawn, the remake. Next up is EAS10 Nordic. Yes, of course, they released it already in Japan. Now the United States is getting its release on October 25th. Adol is back, and he is sailing. He's sailing a lot to a lot of different islands. This is a really interesting game. I'm excited about the EAS series. I just started playing EAS Books 1 and 2 last year. That was one of the first games I beat this year at the beginning of the year, EAS Books 1 and 2, and then I played EAS Origin. So I've been really diving into the EAS series. And what's interesting about the EAS series is that each of the games is its own, you know, its own encapsulated story. You really don't have to play them all in any kind of order, I've learned. So it's great to be able to dive into this game, and maybe you want to go back and then play number 8, Lacrimosa of Donna, or jump back and play EAS Books 1 and 2. I think, though, EAS Books 1 and 2, just an unbelievable game. But yes, EAS10 Nordic coming out on October 25th. This is one of my big releases I've been looking forward to, and I can't wait to play this game. I've heard comparisons to Wind Waker in a lot of the sailing components in the game, so we'll have to see. And I've also heard it's really complex. You're constantly learning new skills throughout the game. Like, you think you've got the combat system down, or you think you've figured out things, and then, you know, 20 hours into the game, you're still learning new mechanics and new things. So yeah, get ready for this. This will be a thinking man's video game, and I'm excited about playing EAS10 Nordic on October 25th. Next up is another series I haven't played before, and that is Romancing Saga. Romancing Saga 2 is being rebuilt, Revenge of the Seven. That's being released on October 24th. This is a complete 3D remake of the original Romancing Saga, released back in 1993 in Japan. You have sort of epic wars, big story. You're fighting between the imperial line of the Varanese and the 7 heroes of the ancient myth, as well as all of sort of really groundbreaking mechanics. I've heard a lot about the groundbreaking mechanics in Romancing Saga. So again, do you want to start with number 1, or do you dive into a 3D remake of number 2? I don't know. I've kind of come around on the idea that you always need to start with number 1. You know, I'm kind of opening up to the idea that some of these games really are their own entity, and you don't have to really go back to the beginning. But hey, you do you. Let me know if you're interested in Romancing Saga. That comes out on October 24th. This is the game I'll be picking up. And by the way, I should mention that all of these games, except one of them, I'll probably be picking up, because one of them I don't even own the system for it, but I have to mention it here because I'm super excited about it. Hopefully I'll get to play it, and I'll get to that one in a second. Next up on my list is Silent Hill 2. Yes, I'm excited about this because I want to give it another chance. I was never really a big Silent Hill fan. I played Silent Hill 1 and I liked it, but maybe it was the time and place in my life at the time, I don't know. But I'm excited to give the second one another look. I'm a huge horror fan. I've certainly, as I've gotten older, really started to enjoy mystery, really enjoy horror stories, suspense stories, and spooky environments. So I've been embracing that more and more as I get older. And during October, I always have to read spooky books. I have to play spooky games. So I'm excited that Silent Hill 2 is being released in October, which, you know, why the heck didn't they release Luigi's Mansion 2 in October? They released it, what, in July? Or was it August? You know, Luigi's Mansion 2, like, come on, October, we're all in the mode for like Halloween time. We want to get cozy, sit by the fire, have, you know, a nice hot cup of coffee or cocoa, and play a spooky video game. So Silent Hill 2 I'm excited about, and developed by Layers of Fear. From what I understand, there are a couple of neat features thrown into Silent Hill 2, like they've included a 90s filter, a 1990s filter that you can put on, which some of these filters I enjoy, and then others I'm like, I don't want that. You know, it's 2024. Like, let me play the game with a clean HD experience on a screen. You're remaking it after all. Why do I want to go back to the 90s? I'll play the original if I want to do that. Anyway, it adds a film grain to it, and it has some color corrections. So there's some other on-screen elements that make the gameplay a little bit easier. Some quality of life issues. Are you a fan of the Silent Hill series? Like I said, I played the first one. It was never like huge on my list, but I'm excited to try Silent Hill 2. We'll see what that looks like. All right, next on my list, I'm super excited about this as a fan of Helldivers 2, and everyone who's played Helldivers 2 has said this is like Starship Troopers. Well, now we get Starship Troopers Extermination being released in October, and look, again, we've had the sort of spiritual successor to Starship Troopers in Helldivers, and everyone's made that connection. But we were all hoping and wondering, well, would they actually release a Starship Troopers game? And here we go. Apparently, this has a lot of similarities to Helldivers 2. I haven't seen the gameplay yet. It's an ongoing galactic war, which is like Helldivers. You know, you get the giant map so you can decide where you want to go in the galaxy to fight the war. It also has really big aliens. But apparently, there's something really new and innovative and interesting that sets it apart from Helldivers 2. So I'm on the edge of my seat to see what that will be, but Helldivers 2, one of the big surprises for me this year, one of my favorite games of the year. Let's hope that Starship Troopers, which kind of started it all, can kind of reclaim that throne a little bit. I'm excited to see what this looks like when the game launches on the PC and PS5 and consoles later this month.
And remember, service guarantees citizenship.
Next up, another spooky game coming out on October 17th, and that is A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. Now, this is being called a budget-friendly horror game, but we'll wait and see. And I actually like budget-friendly horror movies. I like budget-friendly horror games, so I hope I don't need AAA titles. I'm telling you, I don't. In fact, a lot of my favorite games are not AAA games, so I'm hoping that it's budget-friendly. It's a single-player horror game, adventure game, and it tells a new story within the world of A Quiet Place, the movies. So we'll see. It's got suspenseful. It's designed to be suspenseful. It could actually be, according to some stories I've seen, one of the most suspenseful horror games of the month. So that's good news. Sign me up for that. I'm excited to see that. Next one is more family friendly. It has nothing to do with horror and suspense, and that is Mario Party Jamboree on the Nintendo Switch. That comes out on October 17th. My family has been a huge fan of the Mario Party games. When we take vacations, I will bring the HDMI connector and we'll set up a Nintendo Switch. You know, after a day at the beach or wherever we are, running around, doing touristy things, we're exhausted. Come back to the hotel room, and instead of everyone being off on their own screens and not being together as a family, we play Mario Party, and we've been having so much fun with it. And we're just there was one night we were laughing so much we couldn't stop laughing, and it was all because of Mario Party. It was hilarious, and we just had such a great time. So I'm excited for a new version of Mario Party Jamboree. Of course, you're seeing the gameplay here. New characters, new modes, new things to try out. We'll see how some of the mini games are like. Anyway, great time for the family. Can't recommend it highly enough. All right, next one on my list is one that I said I might not get to play because I don't own a MetaQuest, and I'm a huge Batman fan, and that is Batman Arkham Shadow comes out this month, and it takes place between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. That's where it's set in the timeline. You become Batman, and you have to fight the Rat King. It's a VR game, so it's VR exclusive. You get to fight the Rat King and his entire cult. You will see a lot of familiar faces, some old foes that you've, remember from back in the day, back in the comic books, and some new people. And apparently there's some unbelievable combat in this game. You have some really incredible stealth sections, almost like sort of Predator style, where you are hunting down these individuals, which sounds amazing to me, or you are being hunted, and unbelievable crime scenes. I can imagine wearing this VR experience and being just in this world. Man, I hope they bring this to the PlayStation VR 2, because that's what I own. I don't have a MetaQuest, but have to put it out there because this might be one of those games that maybe forces me to borrow one or maybe rent one if I can get my hands on it. I don't know. I don't feel like I need to buy another VR experience right now. I have the PlayStation VR 2. But anyway, Batman Arkham Shadow, really excited about that.
You're everything that's wrong with Gotham! I'm done holding back!
I had to pick the next game on my list because of its name, and that is Redacted. Yes, the name of the game is Redacted, which just happens to be the same name as my other YouTube channel, which is my news channel. And I didn't know anything about this game, but the director of the Callisto Protocol, which I've actually heard is really an underappreciated game, and a game that I actually own. I haven't played it yet. It's on my backlog. But I've heard people say great things about it, but it was underappreciated. It didn't review as well, perhaps, as it could have. So anyway, that director left under bad circumstances and created this new game called Redacted, which has a whole bunch of new ideas to make it feel totally different. Each run feels totally different. It takes on a roguelike formula, and the animations and the artwork in this look really amazing. And apparently, which is a really cool feature in this game, as you're playing along, and if you get killed, you will then come back and fight your reanimated corpse. Okay, so if you were strong and you had a lot of weapons and then you die and then you come back, you have to end up coming along the trail, and you will find your corpse, your reanimated corpse, and you'll have to fight him. So the stronger that corpse was when you died, the more difficult that battle is going to be. I think that's kind of crazy. Anyway, it'll have the same weapons, same upgrades and everything. So again, this is from the same team that did the Callisto Protocol. They had a falling out with that studio. They left, and so this is their new run here. So I love the name. I had to mention it. I hope it does well. We'll see. It's definitely on my list. All right, I have a few mentions here at the end of games that you might be saying, why didn't Clayton mention these as part of his list? Well, I will mention Dragon Age the Veilguard, and the reason it wasn't a part of my list of my top 10 October releases is because I don't want to have anything to do with woke video games. If you want to stick your indoctrinating messages in video games, whether it's gender ideology or any other garbage, I'm sick and tired of the DEI stuff. Keep it away from my video games. We don't need it. It's destroyed Hollywood. It's destroyed movies. Please keep it away from my video games. And Dragon Age the Veilguard, I've done a whole deep dive video on how it's a woke piece of garbage. And when you talk about having menu options for trans surgeries and top surgery, keep it away from me. Keep it away from me. I don't want to see it, and I'm not excited at all about an October release from BioWare of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Ugh. Another one that I don't really care about is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I know so many of you are probably huge Call of Duty fans. I liked the first-person story mode versions of these games, mostly the World War II Call of Duty, and play the Medal of Honor series, first-person in the Pacific Ocean, and, you know, World War II. So I like those. Again, story mode. I don't need to play online with a bunch of people, but I'm not terribly interested. It's not on my list, but I know I can hear many of you saying, you didn't even mention Call of Duty. Because I'm not going to play it. So, but I will mention it. So I will mention it here. But that's going to be my list, guys. Those are my 10 games that I'm excited about for October. It's a great month, and I'm excited about playing some spooky games. I've got a big pile here of some different spooky games that I'm going to be playing. I'm going to do a whole other video on my Halloween games, because I've started a bit of a tradition here last year playing Symphony of the Night, and I feel like I need to play a Castlevania game every Halloween season, as well as some other games that I've got on my list. So I'm going to do a whole separate video on Halloween games that I'm going to be playing during this spooky season. Let me know what games you're excited about in October, and we'll see you next time, everyone.